All right. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. It is Sunday afternoon, November 24th. And let's see here. There we go. I'm having some issues here. One moment. Let's see if I can get this. What is going on with my... I'm having some issues. One moment. Something is not... All right, I'm having some problems with my chat. I'm so sorry. I can see you guys. Added something to the chat. One moment here. Technology. Technology is really something, huh? Pop out chat. Get overlay. My chat's not, I don't think my chat is working today. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure why. Chat. Yeah, OBS is being a little bit weird right now. Here, you're not letting me interact or refresh at all. That's, I don't know why. Okay, well, no, I'm so sorry. Give me 1 second here. This totally threw me for a loop. Actually, I am gonna stop for a second because I don't have to end the broadcast. Is that gonna work? Or am I gonna lose everything? Let's see here. Refresh. Listen, let me tell you. I know how to use things that work, not things that don't work. For real. Just, it's not letting me edit anything. You know what? I'm just gonna keep moving forward. So I'm so sorry, guys. I don't have the chat overlay today, but I have chat right in front of me, so I see your messages. I'm just not going to be able to put them up on the screen, and I'm not quite sure why. Yeah, OBS is just being a little weird today. So, but thank you both for joining. Monique is here. Nano Akia is here. I am so excited to work on this style guide and build out what we did yesterday. When we ended yesterday, I was just feeling so good, so creative. just really feeling so pleased with what we got done yesterday, because I've tried, I don't even know, a dozen times over the last literally 10 years to redo a website for myself, and I don't get very far. I just don't feel inspired or creative or whatever. And I'm just in a different place right now, creatively and with doing this streaming. So yeah, I'm really pumped to go ahead and build this out. I do have an idea for the holiday this week. So in the US, It's our Thanksgiving holiday on Thursday. I also am off work on Friday. And I was thinking about doing a bonus stream on Friday afternoon of a planning session. So I want to set up a GitHub project board where we have basically a Kanban board where we have like a backlog. We write some user stories. We put things in development, in review, and then deployed. The user story exercise is a great exercise because I don't think that I'm going to get an entire site built by the end of the year. I think that I'm going to get the homepage built and a couple inner pages built by the end of this year, and then I will continue to build out parts of this website throughout 2025. But I don't have a clear vision of what those pages are yet. And I think writing some user stories is going to help me sort of flush those ideas out. User stories were, originally sort of invented is not the right word. User stories originally were a way to decide what classes you were going to write in programming. Well, I'm not really going to write any classes, but they are still really enormously helpful in terms of fleshing out your ideas. So I want to do that. And then just the act of setting up the project board, I think would be really informative, especially if you're a new developer and you've never worked in that kind of Scrum-ban, Agile, Kanban environment. I think it would be really cool to show people how that works. I also would like to set up some GitHub actions. I would like to define what the workflow is, because once I get the home page built for this site, that is going to be deployed to angelajholden.com as a one-page website. Oh yeah, Monique is asking me about a Kanban board. So this makes me feel like this would be a great stream to do, to show you what a Kanban board is and to give you a flavor for what a sort of agile process is for building and deploying. I have a very clear vision of how I want to work locally, deploy to a staging site, and then do pull requests on GitHub so we get things deployed over to DigitalOcean. And that is going to require setting up some GitHub actions, which I have not done before, but has been on my mental to-do list for ages. So I think, oh yeah, Trello. So think Trello, only I'm going to do it in GitHub just because I can attach several different GitHub repositories to one project board. And I am not going to do the site on the style guide repository. I'll set up a new repository. So we'll have multiple repositories for the things that we're building. And the idea behind that is that if you're a full stack developer, you could have one repository for your back end and another repository for your front end, but you would attach all of that to one planning board or one place where you're doing the planning. So so I will show you how I like to set up project boards. This is the way that I do it at work. I think I'll just go ahead and set you guys up right here. So I can come over here and respond. Yeah, and it will be good to see the link to the GitHub repo. Agreed. So I can give you, I did start a repo for, where are we here? I did start a repo for the style guide. I haven't done a README yet, but I will, and I'm going to keep what we build tonight in this repository and then start a new repository for the site itself. So, okay, let's get started. I'm really looking forward to writing some code, and then I have our I just have the PDF version of what we did yesterday. And I'm not worried about anything other than fleshing out what we have here, but I am going to add additional typography. Yes. So good. I'm going to go ahead and schedule a planning for Friday afternoon. So if you are able to join us, that would be amazing. I think even if the way I see it with some of these streams or some of my ideas, even if nobody joins the stream, it's still content that I want to exist on my channel as being like sort of these evergreen ideas or evergreen parts of the process. I'm going to put this back down here so I can keep track of it. So, okay, so I have something set up here in VS Code. So let's just start with an index.html, and then let's start a SAS folder. And then in my SAS folder, I'm going to do main.scss. I'm going to do a variables.scss. What else? And then I think I'm just going to do a styles.scss. And then we'll go ahead and at import main variables, and we should really have these variables be first. And then I have SAS watch. There we go. That created our styles.css. Oh, that's not what I want. There we go. And Monique is saying, you mentioned that you might want to change some of the button styles. Just a quick reminder, not sure if this was still the case. Something about the font for the button. Yeah, no, that's good. I appreciate that. I was thinking about that earlier today. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe I would like the button text to be lowercase. I don't know. We're going to find out. The other thing that we need to do today is we need to make sure that we have appropriate link font colors. So I like to, on a white background, I like to stick to as close to sort of a browser default blue as possible. Not that exact color, but something distinct. I do like to have an underline, but we're going to use that underline offset and put a transition on it so it's got a nice hover effect. The links on a dark background are just going to be white with an underline. I'm not going to do anything fancy with colors for that, so we're going to stick with that. If we have time towards the end here, I would like to maybe do an animation. So as you scroll into view, maybe something like this where we have the image on the left and we have the text on the right would come kind of softly or gently animate into view. If we have time, I did ask ChatGPT, I said, I really like using animate CSS. How should I approach using CSS animations? This a little bigger. How should I approach using CSS animations but waiting until an element scrolls into view with JavaScript? And it said to consider using JavaScript's intersection observer API, and gave me an example here of some CSS that we could use where once something scrolls into view, like it says here, trigger when 20% of the element is visible, then you add this animation class. So if we have time, let's try that. I see a lot of modern designs being done that way, and I really like that, and I would like to learn how to do that. Even if we don't get to it today, that is something that I will implement when I build the homepage, when I actually build the homepage of the site. So, so for now, here's the style guide. And let's see here. So I'm just going to call this style guide. And I suppose we could call this the header. Yeah, we'll go ahead and call that the header. And I'll give this a class of header. And then I'm going to, I guess I'll just do spans, and I'll give this a class of I'm just going to call it a circle because that's what it is. And we need to make sure that this is accessible. Oh, is span the right way to go? Span and a span. I mean, they'll be all aligned. I'm going to have to change it to inline block. So if I have to change it, I might as well do a div. Yeah, it's probably a better approach. So, okay, so I'll do divs. And then I'm going to have a span called class access hidden. And this is going to be, what is it? Blue. I'm going to call it navy blue circle. And that's it. We're going to hide this, but we're going to turn this into the circle. Oh, but we do still need our color. Maybe we want each div to be a circle, but we need the name, we need the hex code, and then we need the circle itself. Here, okay, so we're gonna do, it's okay, that's what they're for. So I'm gonna call this the color, but it's gonna be an empty div. And then I'm gonna do another div, and then this is the hex color. And that is this right here. Yeah, that works. 3, 4, 5. Okay. And then we have teal. Whoops. And then we have green. And then we have mint. And I'm just going to call this yellow. All right. Oh, and I suppose we need to get our actual logos in here too. Oh, shoot, I didn't, okay, we have to save those as, we can save those as SVGs. I forgot to do that. Angela. Okay. So this will be class, we'll just call these logos. And then these will also be divs. And these will be, I'll just call these logo item. And then, okay, I guess I do need affinity. Oh, I can't believe I forgot to do that. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, so I did learn how to make a new document so here's our first logo. Here's this logo right here. I literally just click on it and then copy and then file, new from clipboard, and then export as an SVG. So some SVGs, in my experience, Adobe Illustrator used to be great at exporting SVGs, and I personally don't love the SVG exports from Illustrator anymore. They're kind of wacky. I think they're kind of wacky. So I'm interested to see what this looks like as an SVG. So this wants me to do, I'm going to do raster DPI. I'm going to do 300. Yeah, I'm just going to export this. All right. Let's see how this looks. This is just the initials. Oh yeah, this looks good. This looks good. Do not need this. Well, I'm not going to take it out, but I don't need it. I generally just put in this. And well, I think VS Code's gonna, yeah, I think VS Code is going to format it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So let's see how that looks in the browser. All right, she's gigantic, but she works. This is absolutely fine. I just wanted to see a working SVG from Affinity Pro, so thumbs up. All right, so let's save this. Let's see here. We'll put this in assets. And then come back here. We'll get our blue. I'm going to copy. New from clipboard. Although, I wonder if we could just take our, you know what I'm thinking about doing? We have our SVG. Let's just take our black SVG and put it in a blue circle. Let's try that and see if we need any more. And then that way we don't need all these SVGs. Yeah. Let's just do the one. Yeah. I like it. So I think I'm going to close that. So here's our logo item. So let's repeat this. Three times. And then we also want to and then I'm going to give this an aria label hidden. And then this is, I'm just going to say AJH logo. I did this too soon. And I'm going to say AJH logo with a navy blue circle background with a green circle background and white border. I don't know if that's overkill or not, but I like it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. Okay, let's get some stuff in here. So we need to link our style sheet, which is just going to be styles.css right there. We can put in a main.js, which I don't really have anything yet, but that's okay. And then let's get our Google font. Yep, this looks about right. Let's also get normalize. So we have a nice browser reset. All right. I think I am going to grab animate. If we don't use it, we don't use it. Let's see here. And then in our variables, so here are our colors from yesterday. And I'm gonna change the names here just so it's a little more semantic for me. This is teal, and we know that navy and green are the colors that we can use as backgrounds with white text. And everything else has to be an accent color. And then this is mint, and then I'm just calling this yellow. So here are variables for now. Okay, we can close this. We can close this. We can close this. We can close this. What else am I missing anything? What am I forgetting? Well, we'll figure it out. Let's keep going. Okay, so after the header, I'm going to do a main with class of main. And oh, it was right on the tip of my tongue. No, images. Okay. We do need to, we need to optimize some images. I'm not going to save this. This is already saved. We just need to optimize a couple of images. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm going to crop this. I liked this side, so I think I'm going to flip this to be horizontal and just crop the other side, but I will also make a version of this. So Monique is asking, do you want to optimize the SVG logo? And I don't need to optimize it because it's XML, so it's embedded in the data. It's not really an image that needs to be optimized. I realize it's gigantic right now, but that's okay. We'll use CSS to resize the image. Technically, can we see what well, let's look in the dev tools here and see. Where are you, browser? Come on. Why can't I see you? There we go. So let's look in the dev tools here and see what the payload is of this SVG. If it's like really, really big. I generally don't optimize my SVGs. I just let them be because they're XML and they're embedded in the document. So they're not really, see, it's not something that is part of, it's not an HTTP request. Yeah, it's not an HTTP request, so you're not actually retrieving the SVGs as images in that you would see them here. Now, they're part of the document though, right? So they do have, weight in terms of how heavy the document itself is. But this is 688K so far, and that's with this embedded 3 times. So I'll use CSS to resize this. We can also use CSS to change the fill. So even though this is really gigantic right now, CSS will take care of all of it. So, and so Monique is saying, okay, let's see here. So I hit the wrong tab, so I lost a few seconds. Okay, I think you got caught up. You say, okay, I see. So the fact that it is XML and is embedded in the document means that I don't have to worry about that, and I will use CSS to control the size, correct? Yes, that's correct for the most part. So yes, the answer is yes. Let's actually look and see how big the SVG itself is, because it's still part of the document. It's just not a separate HTTP request. So the SVG itself is 858 bytes. That is a negligible amount. That's not big at all, even though you see a gigantic thing in the browser. If you had an SVG, and you could have a really complex SVG that even though it's not an HTTP request and it's XML embedded in the document, it could still be a huge drain on your overall document. Then I would start to think about how to optimize that and make that a lot smaller and get it to be a more efficient thing. But this is negligible. So I have personally no problem embedding this 3 times, especially since we're not doing any additional HTTP requests to retrieve that from the server. So That is a really great question, though. Yeah, that's a great question, and those are all really good, important considerations. And Nano Kia says, "Sorry, I'm not very chatty tonight, but I'm enjoying the content." And it is. I think you were also responding to Monique saying its size is being defined by the font size inside the SVG. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons I love using SVGs, because the file size tends to be pretty small, and we have an enormous amount of control over them with CSS, like changing the color, changing the stroke, changing the size. They can also be a giant pain in the ass to work with sometimes. I mean, I do find myself in situations with SVGs where I'm like, why can't I get this thing sized and positioned the way I want it to? But for the most part, they're pretty awesome. So first, I want to resize this as 1920 by 1080, and we'll do 96 DPI. And did that work? It's hard to tell. I can't figure out where it's the current size of the canvas. Yeah, that must have worked. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and resave this as, I think I'm just going to resave this as a JPEG. And this is 488K. I would like to get this down to about 200. There's 87. There's 94K at a 75% quality, and we've got a nice 1920 by 1080. That is acceptable. My personal rule of thumb for an image like this that you would use for full width or banner or hero or something like that is try to get it at 200K or less. But 94.29, anything 100 or less, I think is really good. So let's go ahead and export this, and I'll put this in my assets, and I'm just going to call this the low poly geometric geometric.jpg. And then we can kind of double check what that is. And yeah, well, the Mac is saying 97K, but still, that's excellent. So now, I guess I'm going to kind of undo it. There we go. I think we undid it now. Okay, now we're back to 8,000. Good. And mode. Here we go. I want something that is like 5 by 7-ish. Or maybe something like this, but I need to flip it, rotate. There we go. Okay. Now I want to flip horizontal. There, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. That's what we did yesterday with this image. Perfect. So how big is this now? 768 by 1024. I think that's perfect. So we'll go ahead and save this. Yeah, and this is 50K. So I think that that's absolutely fine. That's a good size. And this is a very flexible size, 768 by 1024. That's very flexible for moving around inside of a responsive container for desktop to mobile. It's a small file size. And I'm just going to save this as a JPEG. So we'll say low poly image background. Yep, that's coming out as 52. So that's the actual size of that. And that's the actual size of that. Love it. Okay, and I think we need to grab, well, we still need our social media SVGs. We'll get that once we get to the footer. Yeah, we'll grab that last. What else do we need? So we have our images, we have our SVGs. Let's get some text in here. And Monique, I'm glad you are learning new things. I'm glad you are learning new things. That's why we're here. Share the knowledge. Okay, so what's next? Why can't I get... There we go. Wait a second, where is... Here, this is why I'm confused. There we go. Okay. So let's get some... So we'll do sections. We'll give this a class of just be really semantic. I'm just going to say white background. And then we're going to do a wrap. And I'm going to say wrap. And then let's do an H1. Oops, H1 heading. And then we'll do H2. H2 heading. And then we'll do H3. And then we're just going to go ahead and do a paragraph. Some lorem ipsum. And then we're going to want some buttons. So I think what I'll do is I'll let the headings be full width, and then I'll align the paragraph with the button container. So I'm going to do another div with a class of button container. And then we'll do button class. Well, no, we'll do a class of button, and then we'll say blue, blue hollow, green, green hollow. So I'll say blue, well, I'll say blue solid. Blue hollow. Green solid. And then green hollow. Yeah, that works. And then when we align, I will align the paragraph. I'll give this a class too, because I think that I'll do the same thing here. And maybe we can add a green section too. Although Angela, just focus on what's happening. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and call this copy. We'll say primary heading, secondary heading, tertiary heading. All right. I feel like I can pretty much copy this. And then we'll say blue background. But we're just going to keep the blue buttons. What else do we have here? Okay, so this section is white background with image. Well, technically it's just a white background, but we're including an image. So I'll go ahead and it's got a white background. I'm not going to put in all of the headings, but maybe I should. I'm just going to put in the H2 because technically that's correct. I shouldn't be worrying about stuff like that. Okay. And I'm not going to have buttons in here, but we are going to have an image. So we'll have a figure with a class of image container. And then our source is going to be oh, I need the Heidi images also. So let's go ahead and optimize those quick. I'm not going to save that. And for this one, I'm not going to crop it. I'm just going to resize it. So I'll resize the document and I'm going to make this 1024. Yeah. And then we'll save this. And as a JPEG, so this is still pretty big file size, 164. So I'm going to reduce this a little bit, maybe down to 65%. Still pretty big. These images are, these are, even just an iPhone takes a really high quality image these days. So it's okay to really bump it down the quality. It's also okay to just use your own eyeballs to be like, that image doesn't look very good. So try to find the balance between getting the quality and the file size as low as possible to keep it around 100 or so K for that page load time, especially if you have a page with a lot of images. And then just, use your eyeballs. Just use your eyeballs to say, yeah, that image still looks pretty good. I think high quality images can really be sized down and optimized without losing a lot of quality. Because page load time is definitely important. So I'm going to call this, we'll call this Heidi Portrait Orientation. Yeah, Heidi Portrait. And then I'm just not gonna save that. And we'll do this one too. And I'll do 1024 again. Yeah, and this one's pretty big here. So even at 50%, it's still 158. So we'll bring this down. Try 35-ish. And yep, I'll save that. Maybe this one could be a little bit bigger. Let me see here. It is the other orientation. So let's do, I'll do 1350 instead. Yeah, okay. 1400 by 1050. So that's about 115. So let's save this and then we'll take a look here and see how it looks. Heidi landscape. All right. So here's what these actually look like. So here's the one that we just saved. I mean, it's not actually going to be this big on the web page. This one looks great. This one, I can tell the quality is a little bit lower. I think I'm not going to worry about it though. Yeah, I think I'm not going to worry about it though. Not for right now. Okay, so we have our images. And this is Heidi Portrait. .jpg. And this is Heidi the Sheltie at the Plymouth Dog Park. Best dog park I've ever been to. So good. And that's all we need for that, because everything else that we do, this background image, I mean, this background image and this border, I'm going to do all of that with CSS. Yeah, so that's all we need. And then I think we can pretty much copy this also. It's just going to be styled different. So we would just want unique class names for how we handle these styles. So for this, I'll say green background. And really, this header would be, for this, it would be, well, if we're flexboxing the image and the content, yeah, left image. Monique is saying left image, right image. Yeah, no, that's. I'm thinking more about a class name to distinguish this style where we sort of have these background treatments as opposed to this style. So I think that this needs to be in a container. So we have image and then text. So I'm going to say text container. So here we have the figure and the text container are siblings. But then also this image would be, we'll do an additional class on the left for positioning. So this would be on the left. And then we'll do something similar here, but we still need to call out the type of image that it is. Class, text, container. Oh, and Monique is saying I looked at it incorrectly. The images are both on the left. No. I didn't actually. You had a good suggestion, which is that it would be good if we had a class that was like left right to just determine the positioning. So, I think that was a really good idea. I'm going to use that. So, and I'm going to use whatever is on, well, listen, all of this is subject to change once we start writing CSS. But this is a good setup. We have a very good setup here. So, both images are on the left. And so, image container left. I think. Okay, Angela, you're overthinking this. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. Okay. Let's grab, you know what? I'm not going to, no, I am. Let's go grab our SVGs for LinkedIn, GitHub, and this is what I want. Where did I find those? Did I get them in? I can't remember which one of these I got them from. Okay, don't hold it against me. I'm going to use Ionicons until I learn how to search and remember where I get things here. I'm going to use Ionicons for now. Here's Instagram. Here's GitHub. LinkedIn. All right, and then our footer is just going to be, I don't know, I think technically this is like a navigation. So we'll say social nav, and then we'll say, I tend to put things in an unordered list. This is GitHub. And then we'll do Instagram. Right. And I think that's everything. So we have our green background, our white background with the image, our blue background, our white background with all of our headers and our buttons. All right, well, let's see what we can get done here. I'm gonna put this over here, close this. So first I'm going to do, because I can never remember it, grab it from the product list with cart. This. I don't know why I can't remember that. It's not that hard. And then for the body, I always say margin 0, padding 0. What else do I like to do? We'll get our font family. Oh, I didn't really, let's see here. I'm not going to use this exactly, but I usually just save it. So we'll say font family cormorant. Font weight 400. Font style normal or basically not italic or bold. And font size, I usually just say 100%. Line height, I tend to do 1.65 for line height. If we need to change that, we can. What else do I like to do? Oh, we'll get in a background color and a color. Okay. And then let's also add a white variable and a black variable, and I like to use 222, which is like a dark shade of gray. And then just like a normal gray, I usually do this and then a light gray. I usually do this. All right. So we'll say background color white, color font color black, and yeah, let's see how things look so far. Oh, our portraits aren't pulling in. Let's see here. What did I do wrong? Oh, probably. Oh, yeah, it's in the assets folder. There we go. This is Heidi portrait. Not you. I know. Heidi landscape. There we go. All right, and how's our font look? Yep, that's definitely our font. There's our buttons. All right. All right. So, this back over here. Okay, so our header and the logos, I'm gonna say display. Oh, I guess we might as well just flexbox these, right? Yeah, display flex. Why not? Flex flow is row. No, well, we'll do row wrap so it's easier on mobile, I guess. And then we'll say justify content, space between, and then align items. For now, we'll just say center. I'm sure that will be fine. And then we want our logo item to be I'm gonna say 30%, so we have a lot of space in between. So I'm gonna say width 30%, and then we definitely want I'm gonna say the SVGs should be display lock. I don't know if that matters right now. I know by default SVGs are display inline, but we'll start with this. Yeah, this is okay. So far this is working. Let's get our access hidden style in here. Where is that? Oh, we also want to make sure that our images are responsive. I'll put this right here. Don't need this. So max width 100%, height auto for every image that makes it responsive. Here's our CSS for the access hidden class. So now we see all that access hidden text is gone. So now let's get these how they should be. These could probably be a lot smaller. Like, I think they could be like 20%. Yeah. And I also think, oh, we need our wrap. We need to put a wrap around these. And we'll get some CSS here for a wrap inside. So we'll just go ahead and say wrap max width. I usually do 75 rems, which is 1200 pixels. And then we'll do margin 0 auto to center it. And then maybe we want, no, I don't want, in the past, I've put all the Flexbox stuff on the wrap. I don't think I'm gonna do that this time. I think the wrap, I just want the wrap to be the container. Yeah. No, I want it to be, we want the wrap to be for the entire header. There we go. There we go. Now things are starting to look normal. And then I think we do need to have some, because I had I'm going to put 50 pixels of margin or 50 pixels of padding on the top and bottom. So we'll go ahead and do that on the body. So we'll do 50 pixels on the top and bottom. Well, we might as well put some on the left and right because on mobile we'll need a little wiggle room. So I'll do 25 on the left and right. Yeah. And then let's get these encircled. So we know that logo item, I'm just going to put a class of blue circle, and then I'll put a class here of green circle. And then we'll do logo item. So the first one, I think the first one is fine. We don't need to do anything. For this one, we'll do and blue circle. We'll say background color navy. And then for this one, the SVG, I think it's just, pretty sure it's the fill, would just be white. Look at that. Okay, so now we need to make sure. So we're gonna have to make sure that these are perfect squares. So if it's a percentage, I mean, it might be better to just give these, honestly, the easiest thing to do is going to be to just make these So the SVG by itself is 240 by 276.31. If this was an image, I would just do height 0, padding bottom. I mean, I could, and that keeps it really flexible. Can I get away with that on an SVG? Bailey is here. She says, so Bailey, my chat's not working tonight, so I'll just pop this up here. She says, hi, Angela. Sorry I haven't been here in the streams for a couple of weeks. I think I took your advice too seriously and have been going super ham on a new project. No apology necessary. And then Monique is responding. So we are going to do a border radius, but in order to do a border radius for a circle, we have to have a perfect square. Bailey, really quick, I was thinking about you today. Happy to have you. Of course, I have no expectation that you're here every single week, but I'm delighted that you're here and joining us. So thank you. And if you ever want to share your project, I'm happy to look at it. So congratulations and good luck. And then Monique is asking about border radius. So yes, we're going to use border radius, but in order to make it a perfect circle, it has to be a perfect square first. So I think what we might do here, so I'm just going to, if this was an image, here's what I would do. With 20%, I would say height 0, and then I would say padding bottom 20%. Okay, so that doesn't really, I don't think that's gonna work because our SVG just doesn't behave the same way. I know I'm overthinking this. Height 100%. And so Bailey is saying, oh my gosh, yes, I should have it completed hopefully by the end of the week, and I would be honored to have you check it out and tell me what you think. I mean, I would be the one that would be honored. I'm still so blown away that anybody thinks what I think about anything. So, oh, this might be a good time actually to tell you guys, and please, no pressure. I was just trying to think of a way for people to connect. I started a Discord server. So if anybody wants to join the Discord server, I did put the link in. Let me see here if I can grab the link. I did go ahead and grab, I'll go ahead and put this in the chat if anybody would like to join. I thought it would be a really great place to, I don't know, just connect. If you have things that you want people to look at, you could put, if you have resources you want to share. I've had another person, Lena, has asked me to do a code review, and that is on my list of things to do. I would love to help people and do code reviews and just give people feedback and guidance and share ideas and like share resources. You know, no pressure whatsoever, but I just think it would be a really fun place. I also have the chat on the live streams like pretty locked down, and I did that because I learned very early on that I was going to need a way to sort of like rein in if there were like bots or trolls or something like that. And I haven't really experienced anything like really, really bad, but I've had a couple of things come up. So I don't I want to keep the chat locked down, but I still want to have a place for people who want to share ideas or share links. So I did the Discord server. It was between that or Slack, and Discord, honestly, the free version of Discord just has so many more features than Slack. Slack is very expensive per user. The free version just does not support what I want to do, and it would also be a great place for planning. So yeah, if you have anything that you want to share, like a GitHub repository, a GitHub page, a website, a portfolio, we could also share code snippets there, and ask each other questions, things like that. So I just thought it would be fun. And yeah, so if you want to join, you're welcome to. If it's not for you, you absolutely don't have to, although Bailey says that she's going to go ahead and join it now. That's so sweet. Thank you, Bailey. And yeah, I thought it would be really fun. So if you want me to do a code review for you, I'm happy to do that. And I have more content like that coming on the way. So, okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and I guess I'm just going to make these pixel values. Yeah, I'm just going to make these pixel values. I think it's fine. I wonder if I should just make the backgrounds. Yeah, Angela, you're overthinking this. So I like this size. So I'm going to make these 275 by 275. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. 275 pixels with a height of 275 pixels. And then that will make this nice and square. And then we can make our SVG here because we want the SVG to be like a little bit bigger. We can make this SVG a little bit bigger. So maybe this would be 290. Oh, let's see, a width of 290 by a height of 290. Yeah, and that makes it a little bit bigger. So here you can see it's a little bit bigger, but in the wrong direction. Maybe I won't worry about that. I'll do radius 50%. Oh, actually, that gives me the effect that I want. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Love it. Okay, so let's get our green. Oof. Talk about happy accidents. Okay. And then we'll do green circle. We'll say background color green. Also a border radius of 50%. And then SVG fill is also white. There we go. Now let's get our border. So for the green circle, I'm going to do a pseudo class. So I'm going to say after. And we'll do content, no content. And I'm going to say border. You know what? I'm actually going to change this to before. The border is going to be, and then this is going to have to be position relative. And then this would be position absolute. It would be top, well, for now, top 0. Left 0. And then 3 pixels, solid white. Let's see here. Oh, and we just need to change the size, so it would be display block and maybe 2, so it would be width. Right now it's 275 by 275, so I'm going to say width 260 by a height of 260. All right, we're close. And then this also needs a border radius of 50%. Oops. And then if we're decreasing this by 15 pixels, that means it would actually be top 7.5 pixels and then left 7.5 pixels. Oh, yeah, let's see if that works. Yep. Perfect. That's exactly right. That's exactly what we want. Look at that. I'm gonna, no, I love it. I love it. Okay, let's get our color scheme. All right, let's get our color scheme going. I love CSS. Gosh, I love it. All right, so here are our logos. Here's our circle. And circles inside the wrap. So each circle is going to be, what is that? Maybe 150 by 150. So here we don't have anything inside of this. So here we can make these a little more flexible. So for each circle, it's really this right here, the class color. So we are hiding the access hidden, but we want the hex color to be beneath it. So for each circle, we'll do color, width 150 pixels. Oh, and I think, where did I put Flexbox? I put Flexbox on the logos. So I think I am going to have to put another container around, although we could just say display inline block, right? And then center it. Let's do that. Yeah, so the circle would be display inline block and then text align center. I think that's all we have to do. And then for this, we'll do width 150, height 0, padding bottom 100%, border radius 50%, and then we'll just start with the background color of navy. Voila. And then we just need to get this container centered. that wasn't going to be that easy. I bet if we just put text align center on the header, I don't want to do it on the wrap. I bet if we just put text align, there we go, on the header, that'll align those. So simple. And then let's give our circles some margin on the left and right. So we'll give it 10 pixels of margin on the left and right. And then let's make sure that we have some margin after the logos. So maybe, I don't know, 100 pixels? Let's see here. Here's our logos. We'll do margin bottom 100 pixels. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And now we just have to change the colors. Let's see here. So for color, I'm going to do nth child, I guess nth child 2. This will be teal. Let's see here. Oh, here we go. So nth child, teal. Oh, it changed all of them to teal. Nth of type, 2. What's the best way to, hang on, I've done this a million times. Why don't I know how to do this? I just want the nth child. Nth of type. I don't want to do 2n. Why isn't nth child working? I've done this a million times. Nth of type. It's a descendant of circle, not color. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got it. Thank you. Okay. Got it. Thank you. So nth child 2 color. Where are we? There we go. Okay. It's not exactly correct. Nth child, nth of type. So it's the circle nth of type 2 color. That's the wrong one though. Nth of type. The circle. The second circle, the color. Oh, because circle is literally, Okay, so we just have to change this. Hang on. So it's going to be off by 1. There we go. So we're just going to be off by 1 because technically circle logos is the first child of the wrap. So yeah, that's completely fine. So I'm just going to put a note here. This is the second circle, but the third child. Okay. So that's going to be, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. This is green. This is mint. This is yellow. There we go. And this text is small. This is really small. For being 100%. Where's our... Let's actually look at this family a little closer. Oh, they don't really have... Oh, I guess it is pretty small. Look at... So we're going to make it bigger. So I'm going to keep the font size at 100%, but that doesn't mean that we can't make it bigger. So let's just try 125% and see what happens. I mean, that's a little better. What if we make it 150%? That's a lot better, I think. Yeah, I'm going to size it up. I'm going to size it up. Yeah, you guys are agreeing with me that it's really small. So I'm going to size this up to 150%. And I'm not going to do a ton of styling on these headings. I mean, I'm personally fine having these be the default heading sizes. And I like the size of this text much, much bigger like this. So I think it's okay to size it up. I'm not going to do too much here with this text. So let's go ahead and get our buttons styled and get everything aligned here. So here's the wrap, here's the copy. Yeah, I do need to put this in a text wrap, don't I? In order to align this correctly. Okay, that's fine. So I'll get this div class text wrap. And then our text wrap will be is also going to be display flex, flex flow. No. Flex flow is going to be row wrap, justify content, space between, and I am going to do align items center. We'll see how that looks. And then we need to make sure, oh, well, actually, this would go on the white background wrap, not the text wrap. Okay, that's fine. White background. Yeah, and then the text wrap, will be, I'm going to say about 60%, and then our buttons will be about 40. So the width for this will be 60%. And then our button container, I'm going to give a width of 40%. Yep, I think that's okay. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 70-30. Yeah. Okay, now let's get our buttons styled. So we need a style for blue solid, blue hollow, green solid, green hollow. And then each of those will have the inverse as its hover state. So we'll do, well, first we're just going to do button, and we'll say appearance none. I'm going to say yeah, we'll just do button appearance none, and then we'll do blue solid, background color navy, border 2 pixels solid navy, color white. I am going to give all the buttons a cursor pointer. I know that's controversial. Nobody here ever seems to get on my case for it. So our blue solid has a background color of navy, a border color of navy, and a color of white. And then our green solid and then our blue hollow would be a background color of white, a border of navy, and a color of navy. And then our green hollow this would be a background color of white, a border of green, and a color of green. Huh, yep. Coming along. She's coming along. Button container. I think our button container can also be display, flex, flow. We'll make this a column. Column, I guess technically it would be a wrap. Everything else can be flex start. I just want everything to be in a column. Beautiful. And then let's do appearance none, cursor pointer. We'll make sure that these are our buttons display block by default. MDN button. Oh, and so Nano Okia is saying that he does use pointer on buttons. You'd be surprised at the number of people who really don't like that. I mean, most people don't notice. Some people notice. It always feels very controversial to do that. By default, the browser would probably say if it's by default button, right? Display inline block. Buttons by default are display inline block. I did not know that. We'll say display block, and then we'll give this a little bit of margin on the top and bottom, but none on the left and right. And then I think I'm gonna say max width 220 pixels. And so Bailey is saying that that's so strange. I always feel the need to make at least buttons pointer. So yeah, where did I see that? I've read an article someplace that somebody from Google said that buttons should never be pointer and that they aren't by default, and there's a reason for that. And I was like, okay, I do think people expect that behavior. And then let's give this a little bit of padding of 1 rem. Yeah. And then let's just nudge these over. So I think these should be, I will make these I think I can just make these, how do I nudge these over? Align items, flex end, no. Justify content. Oh, the Supreme Overlord is here. Supreme Overlord, I'm so sorry, my chat overlay is not working today in OBS. So today we are actually coding. Yesterday, this is the style guide that we made, and today we're actually coding this in the browser. So that's what we're up to. Happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Also, we have a Discord server. If you are interested in joining us on Discord to chat, I think I can pin this. How do you pin this? Yeah, nothing's working today. I can't pin this. So But it's in the chat. The link is in the chat if you would like to join us. Yeah, no pressure, of course. So let's see here. Why don't I just center these? And maybe we actually want to say min width. There we go. Yeah, I'm good with that. So we'll give these a min width of 220 pixels. And then we're just going to go ahead and center them with good old-fashioned margin auto. Nice. And then so I have to say, I'm down with these buttons. I'm down with the buttons. I like how these buttons look in the browser a lot better than I like how they look in the style guide. And I think I just chose a font. I just made this font too big. I think that's all. I think that's all I did. But I like this. So I think uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, look at that. I'm good with the buttons. And so Bailey is saying, let's see here, that Discord accidentally added you twice. The one without the picture is a broken one. Let's see here. Do you want me to... Okay, so I see. Do you want me to remove you? I definitely can. Let's see here. It won't let me remove you unless I block you, which I don't really want to do. Or maybe I can just remove this one. Do you want me to just kick you? Here, I'll just do it. Let me see here. Are you sure you want to kick Bailey from the server? They will be able to rejoin again with a new invite. Yes, so I'll just kick the one without the image, Bailey, and then keep the one with the image. So, perfect. Oh, no problem. No problem. All right. Yeah, I think these buttons look great. So let's go ahead and get our hover state on there. So we'll put a transition, and I'm gonna say all 300 milliseconds. Ease in out is what I usually do. And then we'll go hover, active, focus, and we're literally going to do the inverse. So here's blue solid. We're going to do and then for green solid, we'll do this. Let's see how that looks. Beautiful. Look at that. It's like butter. I think I'm going to make these borders a little thicker. Let's go with 3 pixels. Ooh, yeah, I like this a little better. I like this better. So smooth. Okay, let's get our other hover states in here. So for the hollow, we would have a background color of navy, and then our border would be navy, and then our color would be white. And then this would be green. All right. Button styles confirmed. Let's get some link styles in here. I'm going to come back up here and do right here. So any anchor link, so what is our defaults? Let's look at our default blue color. So let's come over here and just put like an anchor on something. Oh, let's put it right here. Just see what our default blue is. I want to keep it as close to this as possible. You're going to show me a color? Nope, you're not going to show me a color. It's just the WebKit link. I don't even have a color picker. Okay, let's do this. I can cheat a little bit. Let's say I want to change what is this? Oh, here it is. Okay, so here is, I should get a browser extension for that blue. Okay, so let's say that we put this in as the color, and then we'll adjust it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and adjust it in the browser. So now I want it to be a little bit just a little softer. Yeah, right about there. Right about here. So this is going to be our new blue color. Let's put that in our variables. And I'm just going to call this links. And so Bailey is asking me a question about wireframes. When it comes to wireframes, do you prefer using them from Figma or the Adobe one? I'm familiar with Adobe, but I feel like Figma seems to be a little more user-friendly for stuff like this. So if you have a chance to and you're interested, so yesterday's stream, we just did the wireframe, and I, in the past, have always used Photoshop. I'm trying to end my relationship with Adobe, and I'm now using, where are we here? I'm now using Affinity Photo, which is like the main kind of a Photoshop competitor. And I did this entire wireframe yesterday in Affinity Photo, and I really, really like it. Full disclosure, I've never used Figma. There are people on my team who use Figma and who really, really like it, and I know a lot of people really enjoy using it. And I think you could use anything. I've used Photoshop, Sketch, now I've used this Affinity Photo. What else have I used? InVision. I don't think InVision is around anymore, but I was an InVision user for a minute a few years ago. Yeah, and I think Figma sounds like a great tool. I think you should use whatever tool you are comfortable using. I like Photoshop. I've been using it for about 10 years. I just don't like Adobe. That's all. I just don't like Adobe. So I'm trying to end my relationship with Adobe. So use whatever works for you, Bailey, because that is the most important thing. That is the most important thing, is that it's a tool that works for you. Of course, until you get your first job and they tell you that you have to use something that you've never used before, then you learn that tool. Let's see here. So what was the border text? Hang on. MDM text decoration offset, text underline offset. Text underline offset, and is there also a text underline we'll just do text underline offset. Text underline offset, and let's try 5 pixels and see how it looks. I love it. I love it. And I'm not going to do a hover for links. I'm not going to change color. I'm not going to do a hover. I just want it to look like a link. That's all I care about for now. So I like this shade of blue. It's still accessible, but it's not like that bright, harsh blue. Plus we can adjust this offset. Yeah, I like it. Okay, moving on. So now this is our blue background. I'm going to close some of these. Move this off to the side. Okay. So here's our blue background, which is almost exactly the same. I think it just needs some markup. It needs a text wrap. I think we can do, I think these can share styles. So Okay, yep, that works. So now we just need to do blue background, has a background color of navy and a color, text color of white. Oh yeah, and we need to make sure that this is oh, yep. So let's take the padding off the body and make sure that any padding is actually on the wrap. That's how we'll avoid this. So we'll have a padding of 0 on the body on the left and the right, but on our wrap we'll do a little padding 0 on the top and bottom, and then 25 pixels. Actually, I think 25 pixels is a lot. We'll just do 10. There we go. And now we need to adjust our buttons here. So we need a okay, so we need so this would be our blue. No, that would be right. So we have, basically we have, we're going to have a white solid. Yeah, so we need 2 more button styles. So we need 2 more button styles. So we've got blue solid, green solid, blue hollow, green hollow. And these are basically all for, this is on white background. Yeah, these are all on a white background. So we also need, so this is blue solid on a dark background. Blue solid, maybe, no, blue hollow. So this would be white solid, white hollow. But we have to specify the background that it's on. White solid, blue border, white hollow. I think white hollow is its own thing. Yep, white hollow is its own thing because no matter what, well, it's white hollow, but it needs to have the correct text color. Okay. So it's white solid blue, white hollow blue, and this is the border. Oh, we're not done with buttons. Okay. White solid blue, so this has a background color of white a border of white and a color of navy. And then this would change to a background color of blue, a border of white, and a color of white. White, solid blue. Yeah. And then this would be white hollow blue. So this would be a background color of, yep, so this would be green. And then this would be, no, blue. Hang on. So this would be a background color of, well, really it would be transparent. I wonder if I can just make it, could I just make it transparent regardless of, what if this is transparent? Is that going to work the way I think it's going to work? No. The background color, so if it's white, solid blue, hang on. Okay, hang on. So if it's hollow, the background color is transparent, so it would pick up whatever the background color of the container is. The border is white, and then the color needs to be blue. And then the background color would turn to navy. The border would, hang on, the background color would turn to white. The border would stay white, and the color would be, Telesense, stop. The color would be navy. Okay, this is wrong. This would be white, and then this would be navy. Well, we'll find out. Yeah, that works. Yeah, that works. Okay, and we need a little bit of padding inside of our sections here. We have a lot of margin around, let's see, I lost my chat. So Bailey's saying, I've been trying to force myself to use them more, but I have this bad habit of trying to formulate my designs as I code. So I end up changing colors and things like a million times. Me too. Me too. This is why I wanted to even sort of have this exercise in a stream, because I feel like if I spent a lot of time changing my mind, people would immediately click off. So part of why I'm doing this is to like make decisions and stick with it and implement the changes and get things built out. So I'm right there with you. I would encourage you to just make a decision and go with it. But you know, you can change your mind too. That's fine. I'm glad that I'm doing this in a stream, as nerve-wracking as it can be sometimes, because I want to be forced to not spend a lot of time obsessing over things and to just make decisions and move forward. So let's put we need to put some padding on this wrap. We do need more padding on this wrap. So let's add like 50 pixels. There we go. There we go. So this is coming together. This is starting to look really nice. Now let's make sure we have links styled for our solid background. Where's our links? So if we have, well, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the blue background styles. So if it's a link, we're just going to say color is white. And then let's go ahead and put a link in here. There we go. Perfect. And I think, is this also getting the offset? I think it is. Yep, it's also getting the offset. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Okay, now we have these images. Thank you, Bailey. I appreciate that. It is coming together. It is coming together. We are doing it. Okay. So next we need to, let's get these positioned first. So this border and this background image, probably not actually going to reach all the way to the end. Because technically this is about 1440 pixels across with a container of 1200 pixels. So this technically won't reach all the way off to the end, and that is fine. So we have a white background again. We have our wrap. We have our text container. So I'm going to add an extra class here. I'm going to say I really didn't want to put Flexbox on the wrap. I still think that's a good idea. So I think I'm just going to add an extra class that says wrap and wrap image. Display flex flow row. I will say wrap for mobile. Justify content space between, align items. I'm not going to do, well, I guess I'll do center. We could change that if we need to. And then image container. Figures by default have a lot of margins, so we always take the margin off, or at least I do. And then I really just want these containers to be as big as they need to be, but I think I'm going to have to well, I guess I could just do with auto. Put this inside here. And then I'll say width. I guess I'll do width auto. I don't know. I think I'm going to have to define a width. Let's go 60/40. So I'll say width 40%, because we know it takes up a lot of space because we can see that in the browser. Yeah, that works. That works. Let's give this a little bit of padding, our text container. So we'll give it left, right. We'll give it some padding on the left. We'll say 2 rems. Maybe a little more. I know I'm being really inconsistent with my, let's see here, 25 pixels. I'm being really inconsistent with my units today. That works. Okay. And then on our image container, we're going to say position relative. Oh. Position relative. And then we're going to do, we'll do before. We'll just start with top left 0, 0, even though we know those are going to be negative values. This is going to need some z-index so we can just determine the stacking order. This is going to be background. We'll do background image, URL, what is it here? Assets. Heidi portrait. Portrait.jpg. Oh, I think I need to put this in quotes. There we go. And then I'll do, well, we have to give this some, we'll say width. I'm going to say width 100% and height 100%. So it's the same size as the image itself. And then we'll end up offsetting it by, we'll just do negative 50 pixels by negative 50 pixels, and we'll move it around if we need to. And then we'll do background size, cover. Oh, wrong image. Well, we know it works. It's the low poly image background. Low poly image background. All right, now we just need to do these stacking orders. So we want the z-index to be negative, well, it's actually going to be -2. Our border is going to be -1. So there we go. Oh, and we probably actually want this to be, we want it to be bigger. So it's overflowing on the top and bottom. So we would want this to be, the height would be maybe 120%. Yeah. And you can see here that it's doing the same thing here. So image container, change this, image container, no BG. We'll change that class. There we go. Let's see how we can change this. Yeah, we'll just do 100 and the height will be 115. So it's an extra 7.5%. And then we can move this. I would like to move this over a little bit like that. So that height is 641.77. It almost makes me want to do a calculation of like 100% plus. What if I did a calculation? So we have 100% plus 50 pixels or 100 pixels. Yeah, and then if it was 100% plus 100 pixels, the top offset is 50 pixels, which means you'd have 50 on the top and 50 on the bottom. And then this has padding of 50 pixels, so yeah, that works. Yeah, we do need there to be some room here. So I think that we need to add, we should definitely add more padding to the wrap. So let's give the inner padding of our wraps, instead of 50, we'll do 100 pixels. I know that's a lot, but I think that's okay. I think that's okay. I mean, the leadership where I work gets obsessive over white space and having too much white space. I think this is okay. I don't think this is too much white space. I mean, considering what we have going on here, okay, there's some space here. I get it. But it's okay. So we'll do left 65, and then the height is going to be a calculation. We'll say 100% plus 100 pixels with an offset on the top of 50, so we know we've got 50 on the top, 50 on the bottom. There we go. I love it. What's happening here? We have a little bit of so this has some space. Height auto. Do you see the space here down at the bottom of the image? Why is this adding that space? Oh, it's because it's because, what if we do flex start instead? No, it's still adding that space because of the content, I think. think I need to do image 100%. You're not moving down, are you? So these two, the image is not, why aren't you filling up that space? You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. And so Monique says the beauty of spending time on the style guide, if you end up changing something, at least you know what you are changing from and have an idea as to why you are making the change. Yeah, I would agree with that. And I'm guilty of just opening up VS Code and getting started and making a million changes myself, which is exactly why I decided to do this. So I'm glad you guys are finding it helpful. I mean, clearly this is working for me this weekend. So, okay, so let's go ahead and do an after pseudo class so we can get our border in there. And you know what? We're not going to solve every single problem today, are we? We're not going to solve every mystery, and that is fine. So we'll do content, position, absolute. For now, I'm going to do top. I'm going to say top 75, negative 75 pixels. And we'll do left negative 30. And we'll do width 100% and height 100%. And then this is going to be border 3 pixels, solid yellow, and a Z index of -1. And there we go. I like that. I like that. I'm going to move this a little bit. I'm going to move this a little bit. 100 pixels instead. Yeah. I think I'm gonna so if we take this maybe plus 75, maybe let's do a round number, 80, and then no, let's do 75 because I have some space on the bottom to account for, and then we'll do -40. Yeah. I think I could actually bump this up another 5. There we go. That looks a little more balanced to my eye. All right. Let's get this. This should be a little easier. So this is our green background. We have a green background with a wrap. We have image container, no background, and text container. So these are the two siblings right here. And so Monique says, let's see here. I just lost my chat. Here we go. So Monique is saying, Angela's done an incredible job from the style guide to the webpage today. To do it live takes a lot. Thanks for taking time to show your thought process and troubleshooting. Thank you for the compliment. I have to say, you guys, it can be nerve-wracking, but you guys make it easy. I feel like I'm in a safe space. You definitely have to like let go of a little bit of vulnerability. The goal with doing this has always been about like showing new developers what the process is, right? Because once I saw other developers demonstrating a process, it just made everything so much easier for me. And I would not be a developer if it wasn't for the fact that people weren't out there freely sharing their work and their process. I cannot stress that enough, especially back when I first started learning. Back when it was like back in 2009 2010, stuff like that. Yeah, it was just it was a different time. We didn't have as many resources, and so many people like really freely shared their work and their code and their process. Let's see, wrap image no BG. Put that there too. And yeah, I really like being able to share. So we'll do display, flex, flex, flow, row. I'm going to say row. We could say wrap. That's fine. And then space. Ooh, I have to think about this. Because we're inside the wrap. So we actually don't want a wrap. Because we want it to go... I don't think I thought... Well, no, we could do that. We would just put the color on the background. So it would just be green background, background color, green, and then color white. Yeah, now we can do this. Space, nope. Space between, no, Angela. Okay, it's justify content. Then it's space between. And then it's align items. I'll do center for now. I will probably change it back to flex start, which is what the default is. Bailey says that she's thankful for the stream and she feels like she gets to learn something new every time. And you get to come hang out with everyone. Thank you. Mentorship, even in a form like this, can be so incredibly helpful. Well, good. I'm glad that you guys find it helpful. So I mean, I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I really want to build an audience here on YouTube and to be able to like offer coaching and offer help. I always want to be able to stream and do videos and like share my own experiences and show people how to write code. But I also want to be able to offer people like some personalized help if they need it. Sometimes it's so nice to just be able to like ask another developer questions or to look at code. Just once in a while, it's nice to have that be available. And so I'm hoping that I can like build an audience and really start to do that. And then, yeah, even if you never took advantage of something like that, just to have the streams and the content available to come and watch at your own, I guess, your own leisure. I want to have that for people too. So, let's see here. Okay. So we've got the wrap image, no background. And then I think we just need to do image container, no BG. This does feel a little chaotic today. My class names feel a little chaotic today. So in a way, I'm glad that we're doing this because this will give me some time to think about making this a little tidier. I don't think it needs to be super tidy. I think it's okay if it just is what it is. But this is giving me some pause about making sure that this looks the way it should when I actually build my home page. And it's like modular. I want to make sure that it's modular. Let's see here. I should probably put these text container. I'm just going to do width 50%. Yeah, Emilio says his class names are always chaos. All right, we're getting close. Oh, I didn't take the margin off that image. Let's see here. 0. Let's see. Okay, so we need to I think we need to so this will be padding on the top and bottom 0, but still 10 on the left and right. And then that image really needs to take up the full container. Oh, Emilio named something, has to be named still. I mean, I just try to be semantic. That's what I've finally decided on. I'm like, for the love of God, stop thinking about what to name this thing with this class. Just name it what it is. Let's see here. What's the best way to do this? So here's our section. Here's our wrap. Here's our figure. So I'm gonna cheat a little bit with this one and think about how I want to do this when I actually build the home page. But for now, I'm just gonna remove the content. No, that still didn't even. Let's see here. Oh, I did the wrong one. Right here. Just gonna remove some content. And then come up with a better plan when I actually build my home page. There we go. So why oh, display block. Oh my God, Angela. Your images have to be display block. Oh, that space is getting added underneath the images because they're display inline. I should know better. There. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that means that the extra spacing that I did over here doesn't matter anymore. I don't have to account for that. Okay, so here's what was happening. Inside my figures, we'll go up here. When I hover over the figure, there was space underneath the image, like this, just like this much space underneath the image. And that's because images by default are display inline. And when something is display inline, it has line height, like the multiple 1.65 line height, right? So part of what I normally do and I didn't do is I do default styles for images by saying max width 100%, height auto. You automatically make images responsive and flexible. What you should also do is change their display property to display block, and you remove that space underneath the image. And I didn't realize I hadn't done that. So that's why. So now this looks the way I want it to look. So it's not going to look exactly like this because the style guide doesn't really account for the fact that this is like a container. But this does look the way I wanted it to look right here. So even though we have this green bleeding kind of off to the side, we do still have our images and our text inside of a wrap here. So really all I need to do is add some space to the text container. So I'm going to do padding left. And I think I I think I just did 50 pixels to scooch it in there. Yeah, there we go. So I will think about if this is, yeah, I have to remember when I do mock-ups that this just doesn't work the way I think it's going to work when I design stuff like this. So, and you know, the other thing that we can do is we can just make this so there isn't a wrap and that you literally have 50% is the image and the other 50% is the text. So I just have to keep that in mind. Yeah, I just have to keep that in mind when I actually do the mock-up for the homepage. Okay, so this is really good. So this is a good exercise. Okay, so let's get this footer done. It's the last thing that we need to do. And this much space is really annoying me. So let's get that space out of there. Let's see here. Margin bottom. I'm actually just going to take this margin out. I don't think we need it. Oh, no, we did need that. This is what we don't need. So the header, let's see here. And then we're just going to change the padding on the wrap specific to the header. So we'll say padding bottom 0. There we go. That looks a little better. Yeah, we'll probably this is a lot of white space. I also left all the margins in for the headings. Yeah, I did. Maybe we should just take the I don't want to I'm not worried about it though. Not for this. Okay, so let's get our footer. That's the last thing we need to do here. We are almost done. And then we have social nav UL. Let's see here. So we're going to say margin 0, padding 0, because unordered lists and I suppose ordered lists by default have margin and padding. And then we'll say list style type none. So we're really just removing the bullets. And then I suppose what I usually do is we'll do text align center, and then we'll do the social nav li. We'll say display inline block. I don't think we need flexbox. We can use flexbox if we need to, but I don't think we need to. And then, oh, we need to actually make these links, don't we? You know what? I'm not going to, because it's a style guide and it's okay. It's a style guide. It's okay. So let's just do width 50 pixels, height 50 pixels, and then these are SVGs. So we'll go ahead. I think I just made the fill navy. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, not too bad. Let's see what's going on here. So I'm pretty sure that I did a bunch of padding on the body. So let's just give the footer some padding of 50 pixels on the top, none on the left and right. And then we'll give this some margin. We'll say 0, but we'll say 15 on the left and right. Space it out a little bit. And let's make those a little bit bigger, maybe 65. There we go. So technically these would be links, but I'm starting to get tired. And I've done it before. I don't need to prove to myself that I know how to turn SVGs into links. So it's a style guide, right? And it's not responsive. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about this being responsive either. This is the whole point of this was, I mean, I'm sure you can see the difference between a style guide and then what's actually in the browser, right? This really gives you a sense of, okay, I have this document that I really, really like. Do I also really like this in the browser? And that also, you know, well, for me, it's like, okay, I did this thing in this document and I love how it looks. And then I go to the browser and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't really think of like this container that I have containing these things, and that I would really have to account for, do I want this image to actually be all the way up against the edge? So, yeah, these are all just really, really good exercises. So, but for the most part, I love this. I'm very happy with this. I'm going to go ahead and schedule a kind of a bonus live stream for Friday afternoon. I plan to have the mock-up done by then, hopefully, crossing my fingers. And then we're just going to do a planning session. So we're going to set up our Kanban board. I will see. I think that I'll see how far I get on writing a GitHub action. Let's see if we can figure out a way to write a GitHub action for our deployment. That might be something that I have to do separately outside of a stream. I don't think, see, I have to make sure that I'm like being safe in my streams. And I don't know if writing a GitHub action for deployment is going to like reveal too much to the world. So, but I definitely want to do a planning stream. I want to show you how I set up like a project board We'll write some user stories. I think you guys will love that. If you haven't done that before and you're thinking like, yes, I want to make a portfolio website and I want to show all these things, but you're having trouble really thinking about how to like prioritize building those pages or what the purpose of those pages will be. I mean, I'm having trouble with that and I have a million ideas. Writing user stories is going to help you sort of narrow that focus down and think about what the purpose of those pages really is and what you're trying to communicate and who that information is for. And I have lots of reasons for doing a portfolio website. I obviously want to showcase myself as a front end developer, but I have other interests outside of development. And I do really want the website to be also about me and the other things that I do. So I want to write some user stories around that as well. And it's just a cool exercise. So yeah, I love it. Let's go ahead and get this deployed. I always forget to do this. So let's go ahead and get status. And we'll just go ahead and add. Writing the code for the style guide. Oh, you know what though? I don't have Heroku opened. Okay, I'm not going to be able to. I'm going to have to go to Heroku after the stream because it's like a whole big thing to get Heroku logged into. But I do have this git push origin main. So I do have this at least pushed up to Git. Here's our style guide. So if you're interested, there's the repo. You're very welcome, Monique. Yeah, I think the planning process is pretty interesting and it's a good exercise, like I said. So, yeah, this is the closest I've gotten to like really building a site for myself. Like really building a site for myself. I'm very, very happy with this. Very happy with this. If you guys can join me on Friday or next weekend, that would be amazing. I would love to see you again. I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving holiday wherever you are. If you're spending time with friends and family or just doing your own thing, that's okay too. And yeah, thank you so much. If you are able to, or have a desire to join us on Discord, I would love to see you over there. One of the reasons I decided to do the Discord server is because I would just so much like to see the work that you guys are doing if you are comfortable sharing it. I would love to see the portfolios that you're building. If you're building style guides, I would just am so curious to see what you guys are doing because I love seeing other people's work and I find it inspiring. So yeah, have a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for giving to the dev community. Oh, you're very welcome. Have a great week, everyone. And I will see you on Friday. Wow, what a day. 2 3-hour streams in a row. We did it. We did it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Mwah. Love you all. Big hug here. Big hug. Big virtual hugs to everybody. And have a great one. And I'll see you next weekend, okay? Bye-bye.